Okay, so I think we can start. So again, good morning to everyone. We're happy to host you on our webinar. This webinar will be related to accounts payable invoice flow. We'll be talking about document management systems. We'll be talking about intelligence OCR and how we connected those solutions to iScala and Epicor ERP. Let me also introduce myself. My name is Piotr Szoporski. I'm ERP and Intelligence Process Automation Practice Director, working already for quite a long time with iScala and Epicor solution. And together with me, we have Jakub. Jakub is our robotic process automation developer.
Hi.
Hi. So we will share this presentation for both of us. I will be talking more about kind of theory, how you could use the tools, what is the purpose of using the tools, and Jakub will conduct like a live demo, and he will be showing the systems. Good. So maybe let's have a quick look into our agenda. So we'll tell you just a few words about Mindox, who we are. Then we will discuss why automation is important. Then we will go straight forward to purchase to pay process. We will see how it looks and which elements could be automated, which elements we can address with our solutions. Then Jakub will show a little bit of practice here, how OCR works, and we will show you how approval process will work in document management system in Palette. And at the end, we will also mention some like extra capabilities, extra functions, which you could also consider to implement within document management system. At the end, we'll make a kind of summary, and of course, we will have like a Q&A session. Maybe one technical remark: when you are using Zoom, you could see the Q&A window, and we kindly ask you to put question there, and we will be just reading those questions at the end of the session, and we will try to answer them. Perfect. So few words about Mindox, who we are. First of all, we have like two, let's say, divisions. One division is mostly concentrating on projects. So first of all, of course, we are in the ERP market. We are a partner of Epicor, implementing iScala and also Epicor ERP, and we do actually everything what could be done around those systems. Yeah, so including full implementation, upgrades, customization, integration, and so on. So that's our primary task in this department. We also have a team for intelligence process automation. So for any kind of business automation, software, robots, OCR, artificial intelligence, so all of this kind of topics are covered by this team. And also we have a team which takes care of a cloud native. Actually, this is something about preparing the cloud environment for development. We also have, and I think it's worth to mention that we also have a Mindworkers team. That department is mostly responsible for staff augmentation and for outsourcing the IT projects here. So regardless if this is just about outsourcing one single person, like I don't know, Java developer, but also we specialize in outsourcing the full teams, yeah, where sometimes customers come to us and ask, for the whole team, yeah, like developers, testers, project managers, software architects. So this is what we do. Actually, at this moment, there is more than 250 consultants working with us every month. We're already 14 years in the market. As you could imagine by our names, we're actually established in Poland, and the Poland is our headquarters, but we also cooperate, the worldwide. Actually, we delivered projects more than 30 countries now. If we think about automation, because actually I will cover this topic quite a lot during our presentation. So if we talk about automation, we already automated more than 100 processes for our customers. And in our team, we have 13 certified robot process automation developers. Good. Here, again, a slide with just could give you a feeling what kind of customers we are working with. There is actually the widespread across different markets, different size. Yeah. So we have our customers also like very big companies, where we work with them in many countries, but we also are working with medium and small size companies, and again, yeah, from production companies and ending with the insurance and banking market. Good. So let's straightforward to the topic of our webinar today. Before we will start showing you the solutions, first let's have a look into what kind of problems companies has today, and how we can actually address those problems. Yeah? So we think here at Mindbox that the solution is automation. Yes, and why automation is so important. So first of all, and I would say that has changed, yeah? Because if we would have this webinar like 2 years ago, I would say that probably most of customers will be thinking about automation in relation to cost reduction. Yeah, so typically in the past, the customers will tell, okay, let's automate things because we would like to reduce our cost. But I think that has changed because of the pandemic, yes, because of the COVID. I think it was very challenging year, 2020, for all of us worldwide. And actually, we saw that the way how the business is proceeding now, has completely changed. And one of the reasons is because in most of countries here, there were lockdowns. We were supposed to not come to the office. Many of us, we have been working from homes. And I think that was challenging, yes. And for some companies which were not ready from technology point of view, so they were not using, like a cloud solution. They were not having any remote access to their systems and so on. That was something which it was a really hard time. And actually, I saw some of our customers, they really were hit, and they had difficulties, yes, because at some point they were not able to come to the office, but at the other point they were not able to get access to their systems. So I think that in those days, that's the biggest challenge here, the business continuity. So how to run the business, to be able to run it in any kind of circumstance. Yes. And in our opinion, the automation and something what's also called like digitalization, that's the answer. Yes, because what we could do, we could switch our, like for example, paper document flow. We can digitize that, and then we can put into the cloud, and then it is accessible from many places. Yeah, you could just log in through mobile. You could log in from your laptop from home. So this kind of activities will help you to run the business. Yes. Also, again, you could imagine here that we see that those days, like a human is a weak point here, because unfortunately, we could get sick. We could be off for a few weeks or months even. If we will automate processes, yes, if the work will be done by the robots, then of course we could be sure that the task will be driven and the work will be delivered. So maybe also one more comment, because I just started straightforward explaining why automation is important, but maybe a few words earlier. What is the automation? Yeah? So the automation, how we see it, is a way of running the processes using software robots, so something is called robotic process automation. But it's not only about software robots. Yeah? It's also about any cloud solutions. Yeah? Like we will show you. Yeah? We'll show in a minute the flow for the invoices. Yeah? Which will be proved kind of automatically. Yes, it's any kind of OCR, because we need to digitize the documents and just have them, like a PDFs or XML files. Yeah? So this is what we think as a automation. Of course, why it is also important, it of course speed up the process, it improves the quality of the process, because process could be driven in a more controlled way, and we will also show it during the presentation. Also, what is very important, yeah, if the tasks are automated, if the tasks are going through agreed flow, then it is much easier to measure this process, and it's much easier to make an audit. Yeah? Because we exactly know when specific task was done, how was done, by whom, and we could very easily track this in the log of the system. And of course, the automation it reduces the number of errors. Again, human tends to make some, mistakes. Yeah, and with the modern technology, with the modern OCRs, we see that actually the machines, the computers, are becoming more and more efficient, and they do less mistakes than humans do. And of course, cost reduction. Yeah, I mentioned about this at the beginning, but and I said maybe it's not the top one right now reason for automating, but of course still is very valid, and still it's important. Yeah, that's typically the costs of the software will be simply saying lower than human cost. Good. So let's have a look into purchase to pay process, and in a minute you will see the whole picture, and we will concentrate and we'll look into which area of this process we can help with our solutions. So typically, if we come to the start here, typically it starts from that someone creates a requisition. Then, of course, when you have a requisition, then you could select the supplier. You could maybe send the quotation and just select the best offer for you. Then you turn this into the purchase order. Then you have all documents like delivery notes, picking place, and so on. Then you got it, and you could receive the invoice. You could just put this into your system that you got it. Then you probably need to go through the approval process. And of course, at the end, you book the invoice into the system. What we will mostly concentrate today is this area shown on the green color. So that's mostly from, let's say, accounting perspective. Yeah. I will also tell a few words about the previous steps at the end, but for us, the main topic for this webinar is what we highlighted here. So let's have a look into what kind of systems will be involved into this process. And what you see here is actually a very simple picture. It is a very basic configuration, yeah? But typically what we could see with our customers, it will be the first system will be OCR. So typically when we get the documents, we need to scan them, we need to recognize, and we need to simply digitize them into, let's say, readable form for the computer. It actually do a little bit more, because it's also structured the information, and Jakub will tell more about it. Then, from the software perspective, the next software is document management system. So that will be the system where we will do this like initial posting. Of course, we will do the whole acceptance process, and the document will be somehow archived. And at the end, we'll have ERP, where the final approved document comes in. The document is actually posted here, and then at the end, you could just run some payment instruments here to pay it. What is very important, of course, it makes sense if those systems are integrated each other. Yeah? If they can read the data from themselves, each other, and the data are pushed here from OCR to DMS first, and then from DMS to ERP system. As I said before, the previous picture was actually the very basic concept, the very basic picture. But as you could see here, actually, we can even add more components. Yes, because if your processes are complex enough, then maybe you could consider to implement the functionality around procurement management. Yeah? So you add one box into this picture before, and this one is related to the beginning of the process, when you need to select the supplier, when you need to send the order and so on. So that element could be added as a part of this process. And another, which I think is really interesting, and actually we are here at Mindbox very excited with those technologies, and we work quite a lot recently on that. It's artificial intelligence. Yeah? So we have an example. Actually, again, today we will not concentrate on that. We will have another webinar where we will concentrate only about AI, but just let me tell a few words here. So we have an implementation where actually after the documents are digitized, we send this to artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence actually book the invoices. So the task, which in the past was typically done by accountant person, that the accountant person needs to know into which account it has to be booked. For example, okay, I see the invoice and I tell, oh, okay, I need to book it into whatever travel cost here, or maybe marketing cost. So what we did for one of our customers, we actually make it that it is done right now by the artificial intelligence. Yeah. So we again replace this task from the human, and then of course after it is posted, it goes again to DMS, it goes through the approval process, and it goes to ERP. So why I was showing those two pictures, the one before and this one, it's because we would like you to understand that this is actually something what you could, let's say, start from something very basic, just adding OCR and DMS component, but later on you could build it even more and add more complexity to the solution. Okay, so we will right now switch into OCR. So Jakub, please, it's your turn. So tell us a few words about what is OCR, and let's show some examples. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's start. As we can see, the main objective of intelligent OCR is to read text from the document and be able to assign it to specific element as a structured data. When we talk about OCR, we usually mean of a system that convert image into only text, which gives us great usability in digital environment, but it's not usable as for robots or DMS systems. So we have few limitations. We do not have structured data. We have problems with readings all characters, some of characters. The verification is more time consuming, and text is only text, so we have no context. And the main advantages of intelligent OCR is fact that it's learning with human. So human verification. It's input for the script to be trained, and if it work with human a lot, the verification is more accuracy. On this example of a diagram, we also we see where the training take place and how it affects. Okay, and here are advantages of OCR, that is handling structured documents, print context recognition, recognition of content of document but not context, and saving images in digital version. The advantages of intelligent OCR is identification of document types. So we can not only pass invoices, we can pass all documents, and the script will know what is invoice and what is the other types of documents. We can create workflows for use of specific document. There's support for semi-structured and unstructured documents. It can read written content. It supports document sets, so it can be invoice with 2 attachments, and it note what is attachment and what is invoice. It's self-learning, so if we put into the set training set a big amount of data, it could be more accurate with than if we start with only like 10 invoice. And can integrate with various data source as ERP system, so it can download all data, information about our suppliers, and it can search for them on the invoice. So here we have some examples of documents format: semi-structured, structured document for like governments or banking format. And unstructured as some letters from our personnel. Okay. It presents you how the intelligent OCR works. I will show you the preparation of that model on the AB solutions. So here you can see that we have the first set, that is the training set, of 4 different invoices. And at the beginning, before everything that we see here, we need to only define a set of elements that exist on documents. For invoice process, that are dates, amounts, and order details. And to make it easier to find such data, we define the format for how many digits for account number there is. And if we have this set of requirements and test invoice, we trigger the first verification. As you can see, there is no preparation before. The robot wasn't trained before, and as you see, it finds almost all elements that we created, and script see this invoice for the first time. Okay, so on this invoice, you see that not element have been found, and some of them need to be corrected or fill from document. it's worth mentioning that you can point what you want to pass to the field that you want to press. And okay, and we at this stage we are correcting our data. And after we do this, we will train robot OCR again, and it will create own SAM for identification of each field. Okay, this training will make it more efficient, more effective in the next attempt. Okay, and then we starting retrain the model. And it's worth to mention that improvement of those data took place in a simple interface, so that it can be done by person who work such document on daily. So you don't need IT guys for it. Okay, so after it's retrain, we are moving to the next set, that is test set. And you can see that script is more effective here. And you can see all invoices have been read correctly. Such data will be stored in a structured file, thanks to which they can be easily read by ERP system or a document flow system such as Palette. So let's switch to Palette. Give me a second. Just can you switch to presentation? I will restart my VPN.
Yes, okay, so yeah, sorry for that. So it looks we have some technical problem, but okay, let us restart the server, and I hope we will be able to continue. Okay, so in the meantime, while we are waiting for Jakub to restart, let's say, the server, which I hope will succeed, maybe let's briefly summarize what you've seen so far. So the OCR technology, actually, this is something very interesting because again, it might be something which is fairly simple, but it might be also, let's say, extended to the very complex solution. Yeah, so and we see it with our customers. Yes, so some of our customers, they have very let's say simple needs. They just need to read the very basic information like invoice number, amount, and that's enough what they for them, and then they can process within the document management system. But some of our customers, they really need to extract much more complex situation. And we have an example with a company from automotive industry, and they ask us if we can read the vehicle number on the invoice. And then when we recognize this vehicle number, we're able to proceed some extra actions, yeah, some extra check before we were able to continue with DMS. Yeah? So I think it's worth to see it in that way. Yeah? Sometimes if you need just very basic information, then the implementation were very quick. Those models, they can start almost immediately after deployment. Yeah, they can already start learning themselves. Yeah, but sometimes if you need something more complex and you need more checks and so on, then at that time the developers comes and they start building the models for you. So Jakub, as I see right now, everything is working.
Yes. Sorry about this.
No problem. You know, a few years ago, it was the same situation at Microsoft when they presented Windows. So, you know, we are in a good companion. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So after the invoice is processed by OCR, it will be passed to our DMS system. And in this system, is used to control the acceptance of invoices. For such acceptance to take place, we must first define the acceptance flow. In acceptance flow, I will share you the IT. In our case is IT manager and IT director. And this is for IT tech for laptops like this. And you can also, because this is a simple flow, but you can add person to the flow based on invoice amount or the specific count is using for in the process. Yes, you can see it's CFO, and it's his acceptation start when invoice amount is bigger than 30,000. Okay, and for our invoice, we will see the invoice log. Okay, so here we have our invoice. It's normally paced through OCR systems, and here we have we are able to correct some few of the datas, and it's this step is before the acceptance flow, and you can see here that we have a section for headers of the invoice. So there we can see our vendor invoice number. We don't have here contract number because we are not matching it with it because we at this time we haven't got it in the system. And here we have a flow proposal for this client, so it's for IT. And next we have a document it's readable, so we can copy some information from here. And here we have invoice lines and account posting. And here we are able to change information about posting, the account, the cost center, project, or order. And that information are transferred, if it's okay, we can transfer it to the acceptance flow. Okay, I have this invoice already in my system, so it wasn't transferred. So now I'm switching to me. Here I have a IT manager role. And as you can see, I have this the same invoice as I saw you before. And here you have same build of data, because we have header section. We can change some of information, but not all. We can here we have flow, and now we have an option to add some people to the flow if we think that it's needed in this process. If the invoice is specifically, then we can add some persons with accounting personnel. Okay, here we have a comment section. In the comment section, we can pass some additional data for our next colleagues that will accept the documents. And we can store here text, and we can store here attachment to the order if we have it from our client. And this, as you can see, we also have here account posting. And here we can change data if we think that something need to be passed to other section like cost center, payment. And here we have a Polish accounts, so the naming will be strange for you. And here we have our departments for the cost centers. And if in normal it's worth to mention that the accounting account may be different depending on permission you have. So if you are IT manager, you can have less than this. I have full access because it's only a test environment. And if we see that everything is okay for us, we can say sign, and that document is passed to another person. And now we switch for Krzysztof. In our environment, he's IT director. And you can see now he have the information that I already assigned this document, and he can also change the same data as I do. He can also add some person. He sees that the invoice is out of date. And if we have this document already signed, And after this acceptance, the invoice by API can be sent to your ERP system. So, okay, Piotr.
Okay, you should start seeing my screen. Yes, Kuba, is it my screen visible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So let me pick it up from this place. So actually, after final approval is done, then actually the electronic message is sent to ERP system. And actually here you could see very basic picture actually showing what kind of messages are exchanged between those two systems. And I think what is important to mention, because I see we have on our webinar as well customers using iScala, but I also see customers using Epicor ERP. So we have already developed the integration for both systems. And in this concept, actually, the ERP system, whether it is Scala or Epicor, the ERP system is a source for information like accounts, like accounting dimensions, or segments, eventually, how it is called in Epicor, supplier master data, and current exchange rates. Yeah, so all of that information are passed from ERP system to document management system to Palette. What is important, this is actually done completely in the background. Yeah, so you don't need to take care of it. This works based on Service Connect solution from iScala and Epicor, and actually it works based on events. Yeah, so the event is triggering this information is passing. Just a very simple example: when you create new supplier in iScala, for example, when you finalize this creation, yeah, this trigger the event, and then the new supplier is immediately sent to Palette, yeah, and it is written there in the master data. So that's actually what you see is in this purple color, and what comes actually from DMS2 ERP system is invoice booking. Yeah, so at the moment when invoice is approved, it automatically goes into the ERP system. And actually that's really interesting, because it means that if all information are filled in, if this information about dimensions, accounts, if that was filled in right way in Palette, then it means that actually you don't even need to touch that invoice in ERP system. Yeah? It will just be posted there, and that's it. And it will be waiting into the journal. Okay, so that was, let's say, the most important stuff, but we would like also tell a few words about some additional functionality from the Palette. Actually, it's a very rich system in functionality. It's not only approval for the invoice, but there is a whole module called Palette Buyer. And actually, this is the module which is, you use it at the very beginning of the P2P process. Yeah? So when you would like to place the order, yeah, when you would like to sign the contract with your supplier, and so on. And so this is important. I will tell a few words more about it. Another interesting module is a budget, yeah, that you could create like a purchase budget, and then when you send the order and when you get the invoices from the suppliers, you could actually consume budget, yeah, against the invoice, and you could again see how many budgets left, how much money was spent. Yeah? And at the end, we will have a very quick information about mobile version of this software. Okay, so let's go on to Palette Buyer. Yeah? So as I said, yeah, this actually allows you to going through the workflows. So again, as in other places in Palantir, you have workflows. You could accept the workflow, and here is exactly the same. You could create a contract with your suppliers, and when you place the order, you could place the order against the contract. So you will already have the agreed pricing. Yeah, you will have agreed discounts and so on, and that will be kept in the system. It will be passed to the purchase order. And also, what is very important is that you could create a kind of a limited catalog, which is also interesting. And we also saw this be used by our customers. Yeah, that let's imagine a situation that you allowed to order mobile phones, yeah, for your employees. But you have a contract with a telecommunication company, and you agree that there are only two models you could select, yeah, like whatever, yes, Samsung Note 10 and Apple 12, yeah, and you could say, okay, no other, let's say, models are accepted. So you could create such catalog in the system, and then when the when your employee will be placing the requisition, he will be able only select from this two validated items, and he will be not able just to make a requisition for just a mobile, but he will be able to make a requisition for given models, yeah, which are approved for him. So let's have a quick look how it looks. So of course, yeah, this process starts kind of from the need. Yeah, so someone has a need to buy something. You could enter requisition in the system. It could go through the approval. Yeah. So again, it might be rejected. Yeah, maybe we could tell to the employee that I'm sorry, but we are not going to buy this. Or maybe we could say yes, it's important. Let's buy it. When it is approved, it creates a purchase order. We can send it via email. We can send this like XML file, and then when we receive, again, yeah, we can register this receiving, and then we can match the invoice. And this is actually an interesting situation because in the example we shown you before, it was just an invoice coming from outside of the world, and there was no connection, let's say. Yes, it was just an invoice. Yeah, but here, if you are using the ordering system, then what you could do, you could match the invoice against the order, which it's additional step that you could really confirm that these goods were really ordered by you. And also, what is interesting here, if you are using the whole purchasing system, you would be able then to automatically book this into the right account. Again, in previous example, because there was no connection, then it was accountant person who had to decide, yeah, whenever it goes to travel cost or whenever it goes into, I don't know, marketing costs and so on. But if you have ordering system and you have accounts already assigned to your items, for example, you could imagine that you create item in a system called whatever fuel, yeah. And then when you see that you order that fuel, then you will know, okay, let's book it into the fuel cost. Yeah. This process, as you could see this row below, it's also interesting because you could audit at any stage of this process. You exactly see what has happened. Yeah, so you will know exactly who make the requisition. You will be able to see who make an approval. Yeah, who approved the requisition. You will be able to see who sent the order. You will be able also to see who get the invoice and who make like a final approval for the invoice. So that is something which it's really important, again, for auditing purpose. Okay, Kuba, so that's your turn. If you could show a little bit more of the system here.
Okay, so as additional model, is as a pallet buyer, we are able to proceed order for our suppliers. And here we can create a new requisition. Okay, we choose Mindbox. And you can see now that we can order some things. And thanks to possibility of integration, we can integrate with our with some e-commerce shops that is our suppliers. And it can be constantly updated when anything is changing. And this model use rules similar to the process of invoice. So there can be permission for buying things like I, as a IT manager, can order laptop for my personnel, but I cannot I cannot buy water for our room. And here we can get into information about the product if everything is okay, and we also can see accessories to assign it to this laptop model, so we can buy it. And if we want, we can buy additional thing. Okay, so if we have everything for our presentation, we see that it's going to administration process flow and to IT manager for me to accept this cost. And here we have information about where to be delivered, and we can take the address of our office, and this after accepting, after all steps for accepting, all things to buy and all information about what we want to buy and where it need to be delivered will be sent by an email to our suppliers. So I think it's everything. Me, as Piotr said, it's way better, because if in this case, when the invoice for that laptop will came to us, it have all information about accounting dimensions, so it's practically automatic. It's not, it only need an acceptance, and it have all the information, so we don't need to adjust anything.
Okay, thank you, Jakub. So let's go for the next function, which is pallet budget. And yeah, as I mentioned before, it actually allows to create a budget. And as everything in pallet, it goes through the workflow. So, you could create a budget, you could ask for approval, and then it could go through the approval process. And what is interesting is that then when you purchase items or services or whatever, you could control, you could assign the order versus the budget. So you could actually see the consumption level. Yeah? So how much of the budget was already consumed. And you could create actually the budget at the level of, for example, cost center or project or article. So here is actually an example here that you could, first of all, define whatever they are, like OPEX or CAPEX cost. You could say that the budget is referring maybe to the vendor or maybe to the article type. And you also give the permission, yeah, because we can say that not everyone is entitled to consume the budget. Yeah, I can imagine that companies are separate budget, yeah, like separate budget for I don't know, IT equipment, yeah, separate budget for mobiles, separate budget for I don't know, company cars, and then we can also here add the permission level. So we can say that person one can use the IT budget, but it cannot use, for example, the mobile budget. Yes. And when you make a purchase, as I said, yeah, you can very easily connect, yeah, and say, okay, this purchase go through this budget. Yes. So you will be, of course, able to see, because if, for example, the budget is not approved, then you will be not able to pass the order. Yeah. Or maybe it could be a situation that you will be not able to create the order because there are no funds anymore. Yes, because the budget was approved. So we also found this like a very nice functionality, and again, yeah, for companies which really are keen into controlling the cost, into being sure that they don't spend too much. This is an interesting module. And at the end, we come to the mobile. So I think it's becomes more and more obvious those days, but I think it's worth to mention that, of course, you could either use that system on your laptops, but there is also mobile version. Yeah. Because actually the system itself it's located in the cloud. So again, yeah, there is no really difference yet if you are accessing through computer or through mobile. You have the version, you can log in, you could see the approvals which are pending on you. You could go and you could see the invoice detail, and you can even make a posting, yeah, using your mobile. So that's always place when where we make a joke, yeah, that for all of us it means that you know, we can work maybe someone from South Spain from the beach, yeah, and just taking your phone and just making you work and then just go swimming, yeah. So I hope it will happen for all of us. Okay, so let's make a summary. Yeah? So what we would like you to remember from our webinar, and what we think might be very useful, is first of all this picture here. Yeah, so that we can deliver all of those elements. Yeah, we can build something very simple. We can build something very complex. The whole idea is to automate, because it speed up the process. It speed up the process of invoice registration, but it also creates like a good practices for the companies. Yeah, that they really have structurized approval process. They exactly know where are the invoices, and they can check on which approval level is specific document and so on. So we could implement this in stages, as I said. If you want, we can start with something very simple and then increase automation at your companies. We think that this digitalization and moving to cloud solutions, it will bring kind of a resistance for your process, yeah, for external turbulences. And by external turbulences, of course, I mean, you know, the whole situation for pandemic. It will clearly speed up the process, yes, and you will be able to audit where are the documents, on which status they are, and of course at the end that should actually bring the cost reduction for you. What we can also offer to you, it might be interesting. So if you found our webinar interesting, if you think that this kind of solution might be useful for you, please contact us. And what we are typically doing, we are sending kind of a questionnaire. It's just really like 15-20 questions, so you could really very quickly answer them. And based on this question, we will be able to to discuss with you if document management system or OCR, if it's really something which will bring value for you and that might solve your problems and bring some benefits for you. Okay, perfect. So we come to the end. It's time for a Q&A session. So I will show myself again. I hope you can see me on camera. As I wrote, as I told before, there is a Q&A when you go down into the Zoom, or maybe on the top, because that depends on your settings. But you should see the bar from the Zoom, and you should see like Q&A box. So just please click there and write your question, if there are any, of course. Okay, so maybe I see one question which actually was also already sent by email to me. There was a question about exchange rate. So it comes from the company located in UK, and you wrote that you need to know what is the exchange rate for the VAT. So I believe that this is a situation that you get the invoice still from the UK supplier, and you are in UK, so it's like a domestic transaction, but by some reason the transaction is not in British pounds but in euro, for example. And there was a question if we can recognize the exchange rate. So again, it depends, yeah, because if, for example, this exchange rate is written down somewhere in the document, and of course we can teach our OCR to find this information, and then we can apply this information to the process. Yeah. If, for example, you have the information about what is the value in pounds and what is the value in euro, again, we should be able to teach the model to read it, and then we will be able to simply say just divide one value by another, and then we can send this information to the ERP system. So I hope that it answers your questions. Anyone else? Oh yeah, I see another. Does the RPA learn templates, or every time an invoice from the same supplier is received and user had to check the data? No, the whole idea is that this is self-learning model. Yeah? So it means that within the time when you get invoices from supplier, and maybe at the very beginning you need to supervise and you need to show the model what are the data, but with every next invoice, this model will learn itself, yeah? And it will be better and better, and at some point, well, it will be like almost 100% accurate. Yeah? From our perspective, of course, we still see that there will be a need for a human to supervise the process, but it will be just limited to supervising, not to entering the data. Can you show us an example how the execution of the CapEx looks like, budget versus invoice? Well, actually, I'm afraid we are not prepared with that example, but again, please send an email and we can just prepare like a separate demo, and then we can go very detailed into budget and yeah, like let's say like making a reference here between CapEx, OpEx, and purchases. So sorry for that, we could not show it now, but as I said, please contact us and we will organize it for you. Okay. So let's wait maybe 1-2 minutes more and okay, I don't see any more questions. Of course, if you would have any question after the call, if you think that this solution might be interesting for you, please contact us. You, of course, have my email here on the screen, but also you got invitations from us, so you could also try to contact that way. We would be very happy to deliver such solution for you. We encourage you to start looking into these solutions And what I can also say is that those days, everything goes into like, automation, digitalization. There is really a lot of projects right now coming in this area for us, and we are really happy to share that knowledge with our customers. So thank you all of you for attendance. Oh, okay, no, there is no more questions. So thank you all of you. Sorry, no, there is one more question. So where the purchasing data are getting from during creation the buyer basket? Yes, yes. Typically, what we do, we create this information about items into the system, but eventually we can also read it from external, like from ERP. Okay, I hope I answered it. So yeah, I stopped at saying thank you for all of you. It was very nice to host you, and I hope we can meet soon, either like on person or virtually, and we can discuss details about these solutions. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.